among these verses, I want you to understand that Krishna is saying that the I am the essence of a thing. That I am the sweetness of that thing. So, of alphabet, it will go on to say, I am A. I'm the first, the most beautiful. So when you go to the beach and you look out, and there's these small puddles of water on the beach, but then you see that vastness of the ocean, that feeling of awe and splendor and beauty. That is God. I am that feeling which you say, wow, look at that beautiful view of the lakes and the rivers. And then you see that feeling. There's a beautiful book by Lisa Miller, and she's a scientist who studies spirituality and talks about it in all different traditions and all different lives, and actually non-religious spirituality. She would love these verses. Like when she describes what spirituality is, walking in nature and experiencing love amongst people and community, and that feeling of sense of togetherness and all of that beauty and awe and wonder, that feeling that life is so precious. And imagine we just meeting a friend and we haven't seen them for a long time, and you can see them like, oh, so nice to see you. And you're kind of, or you can say, oh, I'm so glad to see you. I give them a big hug, and you express love to them, and you kind of make them feel so happy. That awe and wonder, living with the sense of awe and wonder, is spirituality. And that awe and wonder is Krishna. Krishna is telling us in these verses that he is that. Just as always, a gentle request, if those of you are able, please do try and have videos on, if you're okay with it, because it's so lovely to see you all every week, and we're spending hours and hours together exploring the Gita, so it's nice to see you all fall asleep while I speak. Much love, everybody. Nice to see you. Some new, some old. We're exploring the Bhagavad Gita, which so many people tell me. I've never read the Gita, and I always wanted to. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to come here at 6 p.m. every Wednesday and talk about the Gita for free. All you have to do is click a link and explore it together, and then we can do that. And then it's just a journey we've been going on now for 6 months, and we are just over halfway through the Gita. But for those of you who are new and just coming in, it doesn't matter, because wherever you pick up the Gita, there's a verse that will speak to you, and there's a place that will talk to us. And so, as usual, I'd like to just recite one mantra before we start with the Gita, and then we can go straight in today. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvimavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This mantra means, Om, may we be protected together. May we all be protected. May we be safe. May we be nourished together. May we all find that fulfillment. Tejasvina pamititamastu. May we work together with great energy. May our learning be enlightening and not give hostility towards anyone. May we not have any enmity with any living being. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is an Upanishadic mantra which is often recited before periods of study or scriptural study or reading a sacred text, and it's very beautiful. Sahana Bhavatu. Okay, Bhagavad Gita. So we are up to chapter 10, verse 12 of the Gita, but I'm going to just backtrack a few verses to something that I read about 50 times last week, but I just find it such a beautiful mantra. And it's the eighth mantra of chapter 10. And Krishna's describing what the spiritual nature really is, what divinity is, and says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. For I am the source of all creation, and all things come to be. Knowing this, the wise who are saturated with love come to me, are devoted to me, love me. And the word bhava samanvitaha, it's a state of love, being love. That's exactly what is being described here. The ones who understand divinity to be the source of everything are the ones who see, who live in that state of love. Very beautiful. In verse 11, he goes on to say, I am situated in the innermost hearts of all beings, and out of compassion, I destroy the shining lamp, I destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. All ignorance is removed due to compassion. Arjuna now goes on to say, you are the supreme divinity, the highest abode and the most pure. You are the ultimate person, eternal, divine, God, unborn, and love. All of the sages, all of the saints declare this of you, and now you're telling this to me. O Keshava, I hold to be true all that you tell me, but even the gods and demons would fail to understand your true nature. So Arjuna is speaking to Krishna and he's receiving this divine wisdom in the Gita, but really it's our own mind and intellect trying to understand the heart. And that's the conversation of our own Gita that's happening on that level. I hold to be true all that you tell me. For even the gods and demons fail to understand your true nature. O highest one, the resting place of all beings. Sarvam eta ritam. It's a really interesting word. Obviously, we are absolutely obsessed at Godharmic with the word dharma, as I'm sure you can imagine. And there's a word here for those who are interested in the Sanskrit. Sarvamitad ritam. Ritam means to hold together. And it ritta is that which holds this entire universe together. And that idea of rhythm goes on to develop to be dharma from the Vedas onwards. So this idea of rhythm, that divinity is what is holding this whole world together. O highest one, God of gods, Lord of the world, you alone know yourself. You alone know yourself. Krishna Das once said something very cool. He said, you can't think yourself out of a box made of thoughts. You can't think yourself out of a box made of thoughts. And therefore, I guess what we're trying to understand here when he says, you alone know yourself, how can we know God? How can we know it with this small instrument that is the mind? to conceive, we can't even conceive of the universe or the number of planets in this galaxy to think that we could know God, or that my God is greater than your God, or this is the correct God, or this is the correct understanding. Not possible. But the soul, which transcends the mind and the intellect, the heart, which is where God actually resides, you alone know yourself. Divinity can only know divinity. Love can only know love. In the Ramcharitmanas, one of my most favorite books, there is a verse which Tulsi Das says, Ram only knows the language of love. Ram only knows the language of the heart. Please declare fully your wonders, by which you abide in all of these worlds. And Arjuna is asking Krishna, can you can you make me understand this? This is too incomprehensible for me to really understand the vastness of the nature of Krishna or Ram or divinity or spiritual nature, or whatever you want to call it. How am I to understand you, O Blessed One? In what forms should I think of you? O Janardana, please can you describe in detail your mystical wonder? For I am never satiated in hearing such nectar. We crave to be um, in that fullness of enjoyment or in that state of bliss. And I think the thing that arises for me from these verses is when we think about the small pleasures of the world. And maybe eating something that we like. We enjoy it, we get a little high, maybe something sweet, and we go down, or a drink, or uh, people will go in to take drugs and go up and then come down, or people will do things for pleasure. And then we're all looking for the most high. Like, how can we be the most blissful, the most happy? Um, and divinity or spirituality is described in the Gita and other sacred texts as Satchitananda, truth, awareness, and ultimately bliss. So it's bliss all the time. It's nectar. It's being in that divine presence that we feel truly connected to God. And that's where all of these other things that we're looking for are are short and temporary. And once I think it was Ramdas who asked Maharaji Neem Karoli Baba about um, um, LSD, and he asked, he says, Maharaji, tell me about these drugs like LSD or mushrooms. What do they do? Uh, I just saw a cat's tail arise on top of cliff, and I thought it was a snake for a moment. I was like, wow, he's got a snake, cobra. Um, he asked, what do these drugs do? LSD and like what is and Maharaji laughed and jokingly said that in years gone by, saints and sages used uh, substances to elevate themselves. But people don't understand now the science of how those were used, like how tribal people use ayahuasca, and then it becomes the next retreat thing that everybody wants to go and use substances, or like which were used in a deeply spiritual setting or deeply spiritual approach. But then he also said things like these substances can take you into temporary states. He actually said they can take you into the room of Christ for a few hours, but they can't keep you there. Only love can do that. Only love can keep you in the room. So ultimately, it's love. Please, can you describe to me your mystical wonder? For I am never satiated hearing such nectar. Not hearing such words, but hearing nectar. Okay. The following verses of chapter 10 are some of the most poetic verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, for those of you who are really bored with me already, keep repeating that this is beautiful in the Gita, this is beautiful. Honestly, the whole thing is just flowing with nectar, but these are very poetic verses, and some of the most poetic and beautiful of all literature, describing what is um, spirituality, what is God, what is divinity, how can we understand God, how can we see God. And so I'm gonna, if I can, just read it through in the English. Well, they're quite long actually. Uh, let me read some of it, and then I'll have to pause. I was thinking maybe I would go through the whole thing, but there's too much that I need to speak about to pause. So I'll read some of it and then pause where I feel I need to. Krishna Bhagavan says, "O best of Kurus, I shall tell you my divine wonders, but only of those which are most prominent, because there's no limit to my splendor. O sleepless one, I am the soul situated in the hearts of all living beings." The first thing that is said by Krishna is that he is our soul. He is our heart. He's situated within every living being's heart. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. I am creation, I am maintenance, I am dissolution. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of the luminaries, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. I am the moon amongst the lunar mansions. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the gods, I am Indra. Of the senses, I am the mind. And I am the consciousness in all beings. Of Rudras, I am Shiva. Yakshas and Rakshas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kubera. Of Vasus, I am the fire. And of the mountain peaks, I am Everest, Mount Meru. O Partha, among priests, I am the chief priest. Among generals, I am Skanda. Among bodies of waters, I am the ocean. Among bodies of waters, I am the ocean. Among sages, I am Bhrigu. Among utterances or mantras, I am Om. I am Om. Among sacrifices of chanting, I am the sacrifice of chanting. Among all sacrifices, of all offerings that we could do, I am mantra. I am chanting. I am the Himalayas among all mountain ranges. Among trees, I am the holy fig. Among divine sages, I am Narada. I am Chitraratha of the Gandharvas. I am the sage Kapila of all perfected beings. What we're finding is, I've just read around, what is it? Five or six verses, or maybe a bit more, about 7 verses. And among these verses, I want you to understand that Krishna is saying that the I am the essence of a thing. That I am the sweetness of that thing. So of alphabet, he'll go on to say, I am A. I'm the first, the most beautiful. So when you go to the beach and you look out and there's these small puddles of water on the beach, but then you see that vastness of the ocean, that that feeling of awe and splendor and beauty. That is God. I am that feeling which you say, wow, look at that beautiful view of the lakes and the rivers. And then you see that feeling. Um, there's a beautiful book. I often throw a lot of books at you all, but by Lisa Miller, and she's a scientist on who studies spirituality and talks about it in all different traditions and all different lives and actually non-religious spirituality. She would love these verses. Like when she describes what spirituality is, walking in nature and experiencing love amongst people and community and that feeling of sense of togetherness and all of that beauty and awe and wonder, that feeling that life is so precious. And you, you, imagine we just meeting a friend and we haven't seen them for a long time, and you can see them like, oh, so nice to see you. And you know, kind of, or you can say, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you." I give them a big hug, and you express love to them, and you kind of make them feel so happy. That awe and wonder, living with a sense of awe and wonder, is spirituality, and that awe and wonder is Krishna. Krishna is telling us in these verses that he is that. Of weapons, I am like a thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Kamaduk. A Kamaduk is a wish-giving cow. I am the principle of procreation. Kandarpa, the god of passion. Among serpents, I am Vasuki. I am Ananta. Among those who dwell in water, I am Varuna. Of forefathers, I am Aryama. And, and among regulators, I am Yama. Among Daityas, I am Pralada. This verse 30, I could probably speak for about 4 hours on the meaning of each of these stories that are related to them. So you really need to have a deep understanding of the Puranas and the ancient texts of Hinduism to really understand like the essence of all of these various stories. And if we want to complete the Gita by the end of the year, there's no way we can go into each of them. But perhaps I can just touch on Prahlad briefly. For those of you who were with us around March time when we celebrated Holi, we explored the story of Prahlad. Um, and, um, and in this verse, Prahlad was um, he was a Rakshas, like he's like a born among demons. And his father was a very powerful king, Hiranyakashipu. And he was the most powerful. He rules everything. He has all of the money. He has the mansions. You could perhaps compare him to one of our modern day business leaders or country leaders, if you like. And then Hiranyakashipu thinks everything that happens because of him. Every thing is being fixed because of his nature, and he is the king, and he rules, and it's I. But Prahlad is just devoted to God. He just walks around chanting Ram or Om Namo Vasudevaya. He's just chanting and he's in love and he's in bliss and he loves God. And and then his father Hiranyakashipu just wants to do everything to destroy Prahlad. It's like, I'm sick of this kid. I've tried to teach him that he needs to follow me, follow the way of what I'm teaching him, and stop all of this thinking about God, thinking, being so soft in love. And and then, in short, his father says to him, "Where is this God of yours? I can't see any God of yours. This is useless." And he even tries to kill Prahlad on many occasions. And then on one occasion, he says, is God in this pillar?" And then he goes to destroy the pillar and smash the pillar, and it was going to fall on Prahlad. And from the pillar, Narasimhadeva arises from the pillar and then captures Hiranyakashipu and kills him and saves Prahlad, saves the day. And here you can see this just if you didn't know the story, among deities I am Prahlad, of reckoners I am time, of beasts I am the lion. When he says I am the lion, he's bringing you to Prahlad and to Narasimhadev. He's bringing that in. Among birds I am the son of Vinata, Garuda. Okay, verse 31. Praladas chasmidai pavana pavatam asmi ramaha. Pavana pavatam asmi ramaha. Verse 31 of chapter 10, guys. Very, very special to me. Why? Because my name is Hanuman Das. And Hanuman Das is a devotee of Ram. Pavana pavatam asmi ramaha. I am wind among purifiers. And then straight after saying I am wind, he says, I am Rama. I am Rama. Rama means either, we know what Rama means. Rama means divinity, means God, but here he's referencing Sri Ram, uh, Rama, because he just said Pavana. The clue is there, and that's Hanuman. Among all things that purify our lives, is that spirit of the wind that Hanumanji gives us. And Hanuman and Rama one. So he's just said, I am Hanuman and I am Ram. Just there in that verse. And it's probably worth sharing that story that once uh, Ram asks Hanuman, who are you, monkey? And Hanuman responds, when I don't know myself, I serve you. But when I know myself, I am you. This is in Ramcharitmanas and often spoken of by Sri Ramakrishna. Used to speak of this beautiful saint who was the guru of Swami Vivekananda. Also used to recite this, that the line of where Hanuman loves Ram so much that there's a blur between Hanuman and Ram. And this here in the Gita, I am the wind among purifiers and I am Rama. Immediately, straight away, tells you that he's indicating that the purifying wind which Hanuman is something that we can live in. That's something that we can experience. And for me, there's nothing greater than the Hanuman Chalisa uh, to 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 take away suffering. There's so many people in the world that don't have a clue what the words mean. It's interesting, isn't it? But they can memorize all 40 verses, like people living in Brazil and people living in across millions of them in India and the UK, and like many of you will have been to join KD sometimes at one of his concerts, and there might be 1,000 people reciting the Hanuman Chalisa, and it brings them so much solace. And most will not have a Scooby or a single clue of what the words mean, but it just has a profound effect on their lives and brings them so much solace and happiness. And people, when they're scared of the dark, recite the Hanuman Chalisa. People, when they have an exam, recite the Hanuman Chalisa. People, when they want to do something really difficult or go for a job interview or wake up in the morning, don't feeling so good or feeling slightly depressed, or chant a Chalisa and use it as a way to uh, create purity and presence and uh, awareness. So it is transcendental. Um, Maharaji said the Hanuman Chalisa has the power to change fate. What can do that? I am the wind among purifiers. I am Rama, among wielder of weapons. I am the shark among aquatics. I am the Ganges among rivers. Among creation, I am the beginning, middle, and end. This is quite interesting. Among all of the sciences, I am the spiritual science. I am the spiritual science of the soul. Of syllables, I am the letter A. Of compounds, I am the dual compound. Indeed, I am indestructible time, as well as the creator in all directions. I am death that steals away all things, the source of all things to be. Of the feminine, I am fame, opulence, fine speech, memory, intellect, firmness, and patience. Some of you will know um, that the atom bomb, when it was first pressed, Oppenheimer, he actually read these verses in the Gita, this actual line. I have become time, as well as the creator with faces in every direction. I am death that steals away all things and the source of all things to be. Now, he actually recited the Bhagavad Gita at that time, feeling that sense of immense power of being able to take so much life. And a lot's been made of that. I find it quite bizarre that he would recite those words, to be honest, like when killing tens of thousands of people. But he did. And one of the things I would say is that a lot of quantum physicists develop their theories of quantum mechanics based on the Upanishadic idea. There's a scientist called Schrödinger, and his book, My View of the World, talks almost entirely that his view matches the view of the Gita and the Upanishads. And so the influence at that time was huge among people that were quantum mechanics that were exploring the nature of material reality. And somehow the Gita found its way into Schrödinger and Oppenheimer, and it's in the recent movie that was made about Oppenheimer. They have the verses as he recites those verses whilst pressing the button. It's kind of popular culture and something to understand, but for me, he's missed the point of the Gita's message. He needed to read on to chapter 12. Amongst hymns, I'm the Samaveda. I am Brahaspati of all meters. I am the Gayatri. Maybe some of you know the Gayatri mantra from the Rig Vedas. Rig Veda. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Maybe when we meditate for a few moments at the end, we can meditate on this Gayatri mantra. Among the mantras, meters, I am Gayatri. Among cheetahs, even even this is interesting. He will even use the negative to express the awe or the wonder of people that do negative things. Among all cheaters, I am gambling. Gambling is the worst type of cheating and losing away your goodness. Among all things that are splendorous, I am splendor itself. Among all things that are splendorous, I, Arjuna, am splendor itself. I am adventure. I am the vitality in all things vital. Among the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. Among the descendants of Pandu, I am Dhananjaya. Very interesting. I am Prahlad, I am Narasingha. I am the devotee, and I am the devoted. I am Hanuman, and I am Ram. I am the devotee, and I am the devoted. Now we hear, among the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. Vasudeva is who? Vasudeva is Krishna. And among the descendants of Pandu, I am Dhananjaya. Who is Dhananjaya? Arjuna. You can see the beautiful pattern. He's Prahlad and he's also Narasingha. He is Hanuman and he is Ram. He is Arjuna and he is also Krishna. So is this really a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, or is it Krishna and Krishna? Or is there no two? Of the wise and silent sages, I am Vyasadeva. Of the hermits, I am the wise Usana. I am the rod of chastisement among subduers, and I am political wisdom among those who desire conquest. It's interesting here that even when we think of politics, like I think the our view in the world of politics is just like, oh, not another one. Like another poor leader. Oh God, just another person that's like telling lies to the public and, saying uh things that they don't mean, or, just egotistically. Isn't there that common uh disenchantment with political leadership? And here Krishna's describing divinity as, look at even the splendor of the quality of how to be so bad, and then remind yourself of me as God, as divinity, that even that quality of being so bad, that is divinity as well. So see everything as a reminder to turn back in, even that. Of things secret, I am silence. Of the wise, I am wisdom. O Arjuna, I am the seed of all beings. Indeed, there are no beings, moving or unmoving, that exist or even could exist without me. Yachap sarvabhutanam bijam tad aham Arjuna na tad asti vinayachyan maya bhutam characharam. I am the seed of all beings. Indeed, there are no beings moving or unmoving that exist or even could exist without me. O scorcher of enemies, there is no limit to my divinity. What I have declared to you is just a mere, just this indication of the divine powers, just a slight, like whatever we've just expressed there in those last verses is just a fraction of the tiniest part of what divinity is. Just like I believe that even what we see out in the stars, or these pictures from the beautiful views of the galaxies and the billions of stars that are out there, that is just a fraction of what's truly out there, or what's truly divine. You must understand. Let us understand this. May we all understand this. You must understand this. Whatever is possessed of wonder, great wonder, opulence, or splendor, has sprung by just a mere fragment of my greatness. Just anything good, anything that's splendorous, anything that's divine, anything that's wondrous, is just a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of God's nature. Just a sparkle. So when we see a sparkle in this world, let that remind us of God. Like, oh, Ram, beautiful. Wow, that was wonderful, Ram. And everything just reminds back. All roads to God, even the bad roads, even the bad roads, even the suffering, even the Trumps and the Musks and everything else in the world, it all leads back to Ram. Maybe some long journey back Ram, but you must understand that whatever is possessed of wonder, opulence, or splendor is sprung from a mere fragment of my greatness. But what need is there, O Arjuna, for so much knowledge? With but a fragment of myself, I pervade the entire universe. Just a fragment of God's nature is entire, the entire universe is pervaded. This is the last verse of chapter 10. This is referred to as the divine manifestations, what we've explored there in those verses. And I think it was, oh, did I miss some? Maybe I missed some. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but I lost the page. Yeah. So, so we from the verses from um I was really quite quick with those. Um 19 to the end of the chapter 42. It was the divine manifestations, and you have that really beautiful exploration of splendor, wonder, beauty. Um, we have we complete there with that chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita. Um, and I guess we've explored, if there was one word I would use, is awe, that sense of awe that we have is in anything that we do, in anything that we see, that we enjoy, that is God. So, if there was a Gita homework, it would be how can we see awe in everything we do over this next week, everyone we're achieving, even the bad stuff. Like, wow, that's so bad. And just express wonder for all that thing. Um, did I ever read the letter that Ram Dass wrote to the family, to the group? Did I?
I think we heard it a couple of sessions ago. Yeah,
Um, so okay, maybe I won't read out the whole letter. But a family lost their daughter, like a couple lost their daughter in a horrific way. Like I don't know what the exact circumstances of her passing was, but it was something that you just couldn't imagine, and that they were beautiful, loving, spiritual couple, and and Ram Dass. You can search this letter. I've actually read it. I think there might be a video on it, or you can search it. It's called A Letter to Rachel. Perhaps, Lakshman, if you could dig it up, you can share it in the chat for others to read. And it was just such a beautiful expression of divinity, of seeing even in the most harshest things that we go through or will experience, finding a way to use the stuff of life as a path to God. And yeah, I think we just don't see it all. So even the bad stuff is like we're looking at tiny ripples in instances of things that are horrific, are terrible, and really bad. And we should do whatever we can to alleviate that suffering with the framework that I have. But knowing that there is something greater, something beyond what this mind can conceive of, and doing whatever we can to achieve that. I was once with a friend who was with, um, I think it was actually Nina Rao, and she was spending time with a Tibetan monk, wonderful monk, and Tibetans uh, are generally not vegetarian, but they speak very much of non-violence, and and for me, I kind of and we were having a conversation about, well, how do we, apply non-violence, but yet still raise animals and kill them, and look, there's two ways of understanding this. One is maybe they see a level that's different to what we see or that we understand. And being open to the view that there is levels of understanding that's beyond what our mind can understand. Now, I said to Nina, I said to about the situation, my level, I can see a beautiful animal that doesn't need to die for me to survive well enough to have a little bit of energy, to look after my family, to do some good work, to do things, and to be okay without that animal having to be sacrificed. And that's within my view. I need to live Dharma. I can't live his view or that view. And each one of you will have to understand your and do the best you can with the view that you have, as much as we all continue to try and expand that view of love and compassion and divinity. And so all the bad stuff is really happening just only on one view. Like I believe that. Like when we flip the channel up, it's it's all God. There is no bad stuff. It's all Satchitananda. It's all bliss. So even when we were looking at this Bhagavad Gita, there's the level that there's Arjuna on a battlefield and there's Krishna. But he's clearly just shown us that it's Krishna and Krishna at another level up. So I think even the duality of good and bad at some level is transcended. So I feel like the philosophy here is not one of heaven and hell. It's not one of good and bad or believer or non-believer or righteous and unrighteous. It's one of transcendence. It's one of, I think someone wrote it in the chat, sub ik, which means all one. Like it's all one. It's all love. Okay, we're out of time there, but I think it would be nice to because we discussed the Gayatri mantra, just to think about this mantra. We can recite it uh, uh, 3 times, um, and then we can sit silently and allow it to recite us. I often think that, we recite the mantra and then the mantra recites us. And just to explain somewhat the meaning of it, we have Om, which is the universal presence, the great awareness, the universal sound, and the Gayatri mantra is that we are meditating upon that divine essence, and all of the different realms, whether it's this earth or whether the divine or whether the divine aspect. And may we contemplate that radiance. Imagine the radiance of the sun and bringing that into our hearts. That is Gayatri mantra for me. We're taking that essence and that beauty of the sun, and every morning when we look up and we capture that sun and we say, "Oh, Gayatri mantra." So the mantra is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Just something that I'd like to share is that next week we have a wonderful event in Westminster in Central Hall, where there is a Swamiji coming from Hyderabad. He's done tremendous social work. And we are in the beautiful Central Hall in Westminster. And I would like to invite all of you, those of you who are in the UK, or those of you who are mad enough to travel over to join us in Westminster next week. Lakshman, perhaps you could share the link in the chat if you could get it, or we could share it in our WhatsApp group. And if you don't have access to the WhatsApp group, maybe Lakshman, just share the link, please. If do you know how to do that? Are you able to share the link? Hmm. Let's see. Gita. Let's see if I can do it. I'm not very technical, but I'm going to try. Um, so we have a Bhagavad Gita WhatsApp group. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So when we're sharing some of the books that we're talking about, or some links, or randomly just a few thoughts that sometimes I share a voice note in there regarding these talks and things that we're exploring throughout the week, then you can just join that WhatsApp group and we'll share things in there. And we'll also share the link to Westminster next week. We also have a wonderful trip in October that a group, some of us here are going on, and we'll be in the Himalayas, going up to Kenchi to Neem Karoli Baba's ashram for Diwali, and now going over to Rishikesh for the end of the trip to be with Krishna Das and spend time with in Rishikesh for 4 days there. So if anybody does want to join us for that trip this October and spend time together, we'll be together for around 9 days in the Himalayas. So hope to see some of you there. And we'll be towards the end of the Gita by then, but it'll be nice to see and spend time with some of you there. So please do reach out again if anybody has any questions or thoughts during the week. And much love to you all and to all of your families. Take care. Take care, everyone. Ram Ram.